Hello and welcome to our weekly group call. Hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. We certainly had a very interesting week that's just passed. So I hope you guys have all recovered very well and excited for the trading week ahead. Okay, so on today's agenda, we're going to cover last week's performance. So although we didn't run the game plan last week, we did have a few members, trade different templates of their own, as well as some of the signal charts. So that was very awesome to see. And then we're also going to cover the baseline Wick trader. So the baseline Wick trader automated strategy is one that we've been using in our game plan for the past quite a few weeks. And we're going to look at how to optimize that and just the inner workings of that strategy. So it's really going to help those who are interested in running their own optimizations or loading up templates that already exist and then tailoring to them to your specific trading hours and risk tolerance. So we're going to look at that. Okay, so let's do that first. So let's jump to the screen share. As we can see, our signal chart this morning this evening hasn't had much activity. We did have a breakout marker left behind over here, and then the price went up 90 ticks since then, and I can see a red one left behind over there, which probably means we're going to be seeing the price go up a little bit here, but not too much in the way yet. So let's bring up our results for last week, so that'll be nice to review. Okay, so our group results it's a public Discord chat that we've opened up so that anybody who's interested in looking at the DTB system can see past performance results as well as the game plan results. So it's a good way to attract new members who want to see the absolute power of the DTB system. Okay, so Bruce ran some templates. I can see on the 4th, which was Monday, had a few mixed results over there, a bit of a loss with the NQ and ES. So thanks for posting there. Christopher ran an overnight template, just small, just a few trades over there just to get it ticking over. And then up the down escalator. Thanks for posting. I'm not going to mention your real names on here, just so keep you guys private. But, well done on entering some, signals based on, what you're seeing on the signal chart. So seeing something like this, where you see a breakout marker being left behind, even the dot from the ultimate bands, really helping with reversals. And we even had one on top here where we had a marker left behind. So a very, very powerful, awesome way of trading it. So that was awesome. So well done for sharing. And then I reposted the video going onto the signal chart that we actually created on the previous call. So that was pretty cool. And then we see Bruce running some more templates over here. Had a much better day, I can see. So that's really positive. And it goes on. We discussed a few things about the setup. Some more manual trading over here. I see Blitz, you're using the minute bars on this. So it's fine to use the minute bars, but as we discussed on last week's call, they are more of they're more like noise bars than trading with the DTB bars. But it certainly does still show signals. You just might struggle with a bit of stop hunting with the wicks. But well done on that anyway. And then Mauricio, we had a bit of an issue where trades were stayed open after the trading hours, or not after the trading hours, after they had changed signal. So we'll discuss this a bit on the call. I've actually identified what this can be, and it was a reasonably simple fix, and it was something that we didn't actually realize up until now. And I'll bring up a larger screenshot of this. And what you will notice over here is that the strategy is entering positions based on the limit orders, right? But what happens is if the strategy is set to 2 entries per direction, when you run the optimization on the strategies and you've got a 3, a 4, and a 4 as the actual, or a 3 and a 3. Say that the contract size for the first entry is 3 and the contract size for the second entry is 3. What happens is NinjaTrader takes that as 2 entries. But what happens in real time is sometimes when the price hits the actual limit order, it doesn't fill all the orders for some reason. Okay, it's just, so what happens is NinjaTrader entered. So as an example over here, NinjaTrader entered the 3, but then when it touched the limit order again, it only entered the 2 contracts instead of 3, and then it touched it again and it entered the 3rd. So what happened here is you actually had 3 entries over here instead of 2 because NinjaTrader has split up the entry. So because the strategy had 2 entries per direction, it's now seeing 3 entries and it's going a bit out of sync. So we've combated that by increasing the entries per direction. It's not going to affect the amount of trades that are being entered. It's just that if NinjaTrader does fill orders over multiple attempts, then they will be accounted for. So I think that is what caused that. So we have resolved that. So we'll jump out of that. There we go. Okay, so this continued with Bruce going into some more templates. Well done on that. And Blitz, awesome. Well done for getting more payouts approved on your funded account programs. Well done on that. And just going to see what else there was shared in here. Some nice results over there, trading. And we continued. And then I also traded the Modena Wick Trader. So the Modena Wick Trader strategy is still my ultimate favorite automated strategy. So I traded this during the week a bit. I think it was 2 trading days. The first day it made 2-4, 100% accuracy on those positions. We'll look a bit into that strategy a little bit later on the call. So that was very well. I even shared this template on this day. So I shared the template in the Modena Wick Trader strategy chat. And then I actually ran the exact same strategy again, and it continued producing results. So there's where the first result, and it actually ended up on 5-6 with the 494 drawdown. So this is on our trending baseline chart. And then the following day, I ran it again, the exact same template, and then it made 2-3 with a 774 drawdown. So it's a very powerful, effective strategy. And what I've actually done is I've saved those templates as part of the script. So if you run the script now, and I only really did this over the last few minutes, but if you run the script while NinjaTrader is open, you're able to select option number 2, and that'll just update the templates without restarting NinjaTrader or you having to restart NinjaTrader. So that's a good way just to get chart templates or strategy templates updated by running that script. And there we go. So I basically ended the session. It was up 2-3, and then I continued it, and it ended up on 3-5. So even though we had baseline breaks, we had 2 baseline breaks in there, we still ended up, with very profitable results. So a very awesome strategy to work with, and that's just because we didn't do the game plan last week. So the game plan from the previous week ended up with a significant win. So that was really awesome. And hopefully we can continue those results going ahead. Okay, so the game plan for the week ahead. So I was going to bring up that on a different screen over here. So the game plan for the week ahead has been updated. And this is what we are going to be using for the week ahead, or this is what I'm going to be running on my live chart. So you'll see the game plan, all the information is here. And also if you have, when you update to the new DTB assembly, I've actually added in an additional licensing step. So this is all in an effort to make sure that the DTB products, the DTB system is very, very well secured. So now I've actually got a 3-level, licensing setup in the tool. So it just makes it that much harder for anybody to actually mess with. Okay, so that's been done. So as soon as you open up NinjaTrader, after you've imported the latest assembly, you will see that it's got a DTB license in there. So we'll look at that in a sec. Bring back this Discord. All right. Okay, so game plan for the week ahead. That's what we were discussing, right? Let me just jump to that. Where did I put that window? There we go. Okay, so we're going to be running the game plan, and you'll see I've updated all the templates here also. So we're running MNQ between 3 and 8 a.m. We're running another MNQ between 9:35 and 11:20. We're running a NQ between 9:35 and 11, and we're running an ES between 9:35 and 11:45. So these are the strategies we're running this week. Now the ES template, I didn't really get fantastic results on that, but I still included it there. So this is basically what it looks like. So as soon as you load up the workspace for the game plan, you're going to see that the charts are there. So if we go to workspaces and we go to game plan ahead, you will see that, this is exactly what will pop up when you open up the workspace for the game plan. And then all you have to do is go into the strategies on each of the windows, add the baseline Wick Trader. I've just got mine set up already, but you basically add the baseline Wick Trader and you go template, load, and then you'll be able to select it over here. So this template name, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is exactly the same as per the game plan. So you just load up the template over there, activate the strategy on the chart, and then, you will end up having a situation like this where you got all your strategies loaded. And the game plan itself has a screenshot at the bottom, after looking at all your performance. It's actually got a screenshot of, what the workspace looks like with all the strategies loaded. So if you just want to have a look at, if you're running the entire game plan, it'll be good to be able to just see if all your strategies are loaded correctly, because this will give you an idea of what it looks like. Okay, magic. So that's the game plan for the week ahead. Now, what I wanted to do was look at a few different things. So I'm just going to close these workspaces. If you're going to run the game plan, obviously don't close the workspaces. I'm just going to set my game plan up a little bit later on my live account, so I'm able to close that. Okay, the indicator sample that we looked at, as you can see, there we go. So the breakout marker actually made the price drop below that breakout marker. And we have a downwards now with the color direction too. So that's that. Okay, I'm going to close this and select yes. So, the moment you install the new DTB assembly, there is just a licensing step that you would need to do now. And, while I'm on this call, I'm just going to monitor the group calls chat. And if anybody's having issues with the DTB license, just let me know in the chat. But basically, once you've installed the new assembly, you'll see this menu item on top there. So at the moment, the license key is DTB in capitals or DTB in lowercase. And all you have to do is click validate license. So at the moment, it's just everybody's using the same license, but I'm going to be emailing each and every one of you over the coming week to give you your own unique license key. So, soon if you enter DTB, it won't work because each person's going to have their own license key. So it's nicely integrated onto the NinjaTrader platform over there. So, nice and tidy. Okay, I'm just going to open up a new chart first of all, and we're going to load up the let's load up an MNQ, and I'm going to go 1, 200. You don't need break at end of day on this. In fact, we're probably going to load 3 days because it is Sunday. And you don't load for break at end of day on the Modena Wick Trader strategy. We don't need to incorporate it when we load the chart. It's really only for the indicators that work with different functionality. But you're looking at this trending baseline chart. And as you can see, the market opened, it kind of just shot straight over there. But this is basically what the trending baseline chart looks like and what we've been using for the automated strategy. So if I go to the strategy settings and I pop on the Modena Wick Trader strategy, which is the one I shared the results with. If you're trading the MNQ, if you go to your templates and you go load, you'll see over there that's got a MNQ template over there. So you can load that up. And all you have to do here is go and select your specific trading account that you're going to trade on. And then click on enable, apply, and OK. Now wait for it to finish calculating just so that it can really, it can build up. And, during the week, you're able to enter, 0 days in the data series, just so that the chart doesn't have to deal with a lot of information. In fact, I probably could have done the same thing today because we are just starting on this trending baseline. But once you've done that, just let it complete calculating. You'll see it's going through all historical data. It's making sure everything is synced. And now you actually have the option to start the strategy. So run this template this week on your MNQ as well as NQ. The NQ's got just a different target and stop for the daily. But leave it without all the extra filters that are in there. And then just basically click start. And then it will start trading. So when it starts trading, and say for example, it's entered positions, and you are happy with the amount of positions that are currently in play on the market, what you can do is you can click on the start button again, and what will happen is it will show a pause in there. It'll say strategy pause, no new positions. So all that means is that the strategy won't enter any more positions, but any existing positions will either hit their stops or their targets. And it'll give you confirmation at the bottom of the screen too, saying strategy, no new positions, press start again. So as soon as you're ready to start again, you can press the start button and it will start trading as usual. You can adjust the target ticks and stop ticks in real time also. So whatever you adjust over here, will immediately take effect in the strategy. Same with the minimum distance, the maximum distance, the trade size. You might want to change the entries per direction. You might say, I only want to enter 2 entries, but I want all trades to be size 2. Then that'll update in the settings. So it's quite a powerful strategy in the sense of the functionality, because those settings that you are updated in there. So you can see the trade size has increased to 2 because we've adjusted the slider. So it just provides you the ability to be able to make adjustments to the automated strategy without having to go and disable it and re-enable it, changing settings. So a real-time management tool. And it's the same thing with the max entry. Say you want to enter 10 entries, okay? And then all 10 entries have entered, or say, for example, even you've got 5 of the 10 entries entered, and you don't want to enter any more positions, you can, reduce this back down to 5, and then it won't enter any more positions. So it's quite a powerful strategy in the sense that you've got a lot of control over what it actually does. And we haven't even covered any of the signal charts, but for right now, with all the testing I've done over the last week, the strategy was extremely successful trading on these templates. So load up the templates, and I encourage you to run them on different SIM accounts or even on different live accounts. Just make sure that you're able to accommodate the different entries that it enters, the trade size, whatever you want to make that. And you guys are going to see some really powerful stuff from it. So I'm not going to cover too much more on this strategy itself, because this strategy deserves an entire call where we go into all the intricacies of the strategy itself. But for right now, you guys have got a template to run, which is provided to you, and you've got a brief understanding of how the buttons and the sliders work on the chart. So just with that knowledge, you'll be able to trade the strategy very effectively. All right, so I'm just going to deactivate this. Okay. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the strategy analyzer for the baseline Wick trader. So I'm going to go to new strategy analyzer. And we're really going to just have a really good understanding of the strategy. So this will be really helpful for, especially for the new guys. So we're going to load up optimization, and then we are going to select the baseline Wick trader. And then we're going to review some of the settings first of all. So when you are seeing these settings A and B, so setting A, setting B, and setting C. So these ones over here, so there's a combination of tools that represent setting A, and there's a combination of tools that represent setting B. So I'm not going to tell you exactly what is behind setting A and setting B and setting C. All that you need to know is that it can be optimized between 1 and 100 under extreme circumstances, and also setting B can be done between 1 and 60, and setting C is basically the same as setting B, but for a second indicator. So what we've effectively done over here is we've combined two of the same indicators into the one automated strategy. So you'll see that setting A and setting B is for the one indicator, which is giving you your A and B settings, but setting C is for the second indicator, and that only accommodates between the 1 and the 60, or the 1 and 58. So it's even listed in there between 1 and 50, or even 0 and 58. So this indicator is the same as setting A and B, okay, but it has locked in setting A as 2. So that's why you don't have another setting. You don't have setting C and D. And that's because, setting D is just the second part of the indicator. So it might be a bit confusing. But all you have to know is that whenever you optimize setting C, it automatically has, the setting A as 2. So these two settings over here are basically, similar, because you can optimize each of them. And what that does is it's giving you two indicators signals, and it's filtering them out accordingly. So what we'll do is we'll just run an optimization on this. So normally you would be between 2 and 10. So for most settings, you'll find that between 2 and 10 is fine, especially on the bar size that we're working on. If you're working on a very small bar size and the price moves significantly, then you could increase this max value right up there. So for this one over here, you could run it between 2 and 58, or between 2 and 60 in increments of 1 or in increments of 2. So I generally do 2 just to give it less work, but you certainly can do it in increments of 1. And I think somebody mentioned in one of the chats earlier that they found a better setting with 19 instead of 18. That's just because it's doing every single number. So we'll put those settings like that. Now, the next part of the strategy is going to be the vertical lines. So that just shows you, where the limit orders are being submitted. So that just shows you lines on the chart. And the next section over here is include trade history, untick for faster optimization. So if you untick this box, what will happen is it will run the strategy analyzer, but it won't keep a record of every single trade listed. It will still show you all the accurate results, but it's not data dumping all the individual trades. So that's what that does. So you can run your optimization with this unticked, but make sure that when you add the strategy to a trading chart, you actually tick this box. Otherwise, you won't see any trade history. Now, the next step is the signals. So these are the specific signals that are generated from the indicators, and it's going, and you're able to select, which ones you take. So first, second, third, and fourth, that's the time when the price bounces around the brick walls. So that depicts that. So number 1 will obviously be the first time, to the second, third, and fourth. So, if you limit number 1 and number 2 and you only use 3 and 4, you're going to have far fewer trades because it's only acting on price where it is really stuck in a certain zone. Okay, then we've got our entries. So, when a signal submits an entry order, what will happen is it will put in a limit order a certain distance away from where the signal generated. So like over here, we've got a tick distance of 12. Second one is a tick distance of 20. The third one is a tick distance of 30. The fourth one is a tick distance of 50. So that is the distance in ticks away from where the signal generated. Then we've got the target ticks for each of them, and we've got stop ticks for each of them. And here we've got the trade size. So yeah, we've got 4 and 4 and 1 and 1. So that is the specific trade size for each of these entries. So like the tick distance will be 12 on the first one, and it means that the target will be 12 and the stop will be 100. And these are just default settings. I might just load up a template that we were working with. And then you're obviously able to select your stops and targets like we've discussed. This manipulation value, we're not using this at the moment just because it's not giving us the best results. It definitely filters our trades a lot more, but it's not really a huge benefit in this strategy so far. It might work on certain bar sizes and stuff, but for the moment, I'm leaving this false. It has shown great results in the past using different bar sizes, but because the templates that we're working on or the bar size that we're working on is fairly, large, and we're trying to trade those pullbacks, this hasn't really helped us a lot. So we're going to leave this false. The next step is here, the add chart indicator to strategy. So this is just going to add the actual brick walls or the coloring and the bars to the strategy. So if you untick that, it could run a little bit faster. And if you activate the strategy, you can choose to have it on or off. So the reason why some people will have this off while the strategy is running is to give the chart a lot less information to have to process. So the less information on a trading chart, the less indicators loaded, the more fluid NinjaTrader should run. So we often just leave this unticked and then we go from there. So the next step is the trading hours. So this is where you set a specific trading hours time for when you want to start trading and stop trading, and when all positions exit. So, if you see the time now, it's 7:27 p.m. So after you've done optimization, or before you do optimization, it's good to change the value of the start time. So you are obviously able to optimize any times of the day, but say, for example, we want to run the strategy from 8 o'clock, then you would put there as 8 p.m. and then have it there. So in that way, what's going to happen is you're not going to have issues activating the strategy because the time is actually in advance. So that's what you'll be doing. So if you're going to run a template or strategy between specific times of the day, make sure that you activate the strategy before that time. Okay, then we've got our blackouts. So the blackouts are specific times of the day where we do not want the strategy to enter positions. And this could be around very strong news events. So, some people might choose to select these. And, that is just like this example is, 8:26 to 8:40. So that's like saying, I don't want to enter any positions between this time and this time. And you might want to make this, 8:35 just to avoid that, the major news announcement that come there. So that is what's going to do. And there is an option over here to exit open positions at the start of the blackout. So the strategy will be trading with whatever hours that you have selected, but you can select an option over here to exit any open positions that are in the market at these times. If you don't tick this box, then it will still not trade during these times, but whatever positions are open will continue running. So sometimes, the market can really jump extremely fast, and it could, create huge gaps in the market, and that could completely jump over stops and targets. So it's good to exit the positions when you are expecting huge news announcements at specific times. Because we've all seen how the market can go absolute apeshit, during certain times of the day. And, the whole order management system of NinjaTrader really struggles to, work with a strategy that's got a lot of different things in it and manage that all effectively. So it's best to try and avoid those types of times. Again, we've also got our days of the week. So you can optimize very specific days of the week, or you can optimize them all together. The auto start just means that the strategy will automatically start trading. So the start button will be green. You got your daily profit, your daily stops, you got your trailing drawdown. So all of these will affect obviously how the strategy is optimized, working with different values. You've got your account stops and targets. So this is a very, very cool feature too, because you're able to select the specific trading account that you are entering on. So you might have multiple strategies running on a specific trading account. And then what you can do is you can select that account in here, and you can choose at an account level when you want all trading to stop. So any strategy that is running that has got the same account selected will stop trading at specific values. So say, for example, you've got 4 strategies running, but you want the account to make $2,000 in net profit, and then all strategies will stop trading. So then you will click that box. So you would obviously choose the account that you're going to be trading on, and then you select that value here, and you put the same value in all the strategies. And then that will make every strategy stop trading once your account that you're trading on has hit a specific value. So that's a very, very awesome thing. And you can do the same with drawdown, right? So if you've got a funded account program and you've got a restriction of whatever, say $2,000 that your account can't drop below, well, then maybe you will change this to $1,500, so that you make sure you don't go within that trailing drawdown value for that day. And it might even be less. It might even be 1,000. So, obviously just don't adjust this very low if you're trading NQ. So it's only really on your micro accounts or your smaller accounts where you've got your different values that you have to stick within. So this is a very, very cool feature. I don't think anybody else actually has anything like this at an account level. And then obviously we're selecting our instrument that we're trading on. So, you select your MNQ, you select your date range, what type of bars it is. So generally DTB bars you're going to run on there. And you select your start date. So, it always defaults to January 1st. So depending on what date you're going to run, you can select like the two last weeks. We want to include commission, and we want to include the optimization. So I always go max net profit. That seems to be my favorite option to use, and what I use for all optimizations. Now here's the entries per direction. So you'll see over there it's set to 2, but if you look at the top of the screen, if you look at the top of the settings, you'll see it's got 4, 8, 9, 10. So when you run optimizations on the strategy, this will be picked up as 1, 2, 3, as 4 entries. Okay, but as we saw earlier, NinjaTrader might not fill all 4 entries at the same time. It might only fill 2 of them, and then it might fill the rest of the next 2 a few seconds later. This one over here, it might fill the 4, and then this one over here, this one over here. So we want to make sure that the amount of entries that we've got in here are actually put in the entries per direction. So if we go to entries per direction, we need to make this as 10, looking at these specific settings. And it doesn't mean that the strategy is going to enter 10 individual or separate orders. It's still going to respect the signals that have been generated. It's still only going to enter the maximum amount of trades that the strategy has selected. You're not going to have 10 orders of 4 contracts, right? But this is just a way to make sure that if NinjaTrader does separate the entries, or if limit orders are only part filled, that the total amount of possible entries that the strategy can enter are in here. So that's a very important setting, which I think we've actually not really understood up until now. And I had to do some really deep diving into this and looking at a lot of screenshots, a lot of log data. And I saw that, the strategy was trying to cancel orders because the strategy thought it's only supposed to be in 2 entries, but because the entries were split up on execution, it actually had entered more entries than 2, as we saw, before. So that's why this value is extremely important to actually work with. And then the rest of the settings are basically the same. There is one last thing I wanted to show you on this. So if I go to the bottom, we've got entry handling. So entry handling is it's not what I wanted to chat about. Let me just see, where is the setting that I wanted to show you guys? Where is this now? It's not that. It's not that. It's basically being able to group the orders to exit all together. Why am I not seeing this all of a sudden? Let me just check. Oh, okay, I'll just skip over that for a moment. So let's load a template. So let's just go with a template that we've created. So let's work with NQ. Okay, so like this is one of the templates that we created in the game plan. So this is a game plan template. So what you can also do is whenever you see a template inside the folder for the strategy, you can actually load that up inside your strategy analyzer. And what that does is it pre-fills all the information from that specific template. It's going to have all the signals in there. It's going to have all the tick distances. So you can see this strategy is only entering the 3rd and the 4th order. And it's entering 4 and 4 as the trade size. It's got its targets and it's got its stops. So that is in there. You can see that it's the target ticks is 50 and 80. There's the stops. So all that is in there. So one of the first things you can do is you can load this up in your analyzer, and then you can review the settings. So you might want to adjust the values of this. So for example, you might say, you know what, I only want to make, I want to have, the strategy not have a 7,000 daily stop. I actually only I'm only comfortable with a 5,000 stop. And you know what, because the strategy is targeting a smaller value, then obviously the target has to be a little bit lower, right? So let's go with 8,000. Okay, so we're going to go 8,000 over here. We still got to enter, and you might say, you know, I'm not comfortable entering four contracts on an order. I actually only want to enter 2. So you might choose 2 over there. Now, bear in mind, whenever you change these values, you got to make sure that the strategy, entering that size contract is still in line with your values over here. So, making that 2 and 2, you might, reduce this back down again. I'll make this 4,000. So obviously, because the strategy is entering fewer size or smaller size contracts, I don't know why this thing jumps like that, but anyway, then you can reduce these 2. So you can go 6,000 over here. Or you can leave them completely unticked to see what the strategy actually produces, and then come back and refine this. But we'll adjust those. And like I said, we're going to be trading the NQ. So we select the NQ in there. We've got our dates in there. We want to make sure break at end of day is on. Include commission is on too. We've got our slippage in there, a max net profit, and then you'll see I've got 8 over there. So entries per direction is 8. But because we actually changed this to 2 and 2, we actually only need to have this as 4. Okay, so now we've got that, right? Okay, so then we can scroll to the top of the screen. We've got our optimization. So I'm going to run between 2 and 10, and I'm going to go between 2 and 58, and I'm going to do increments of 2. And I'm just going to leave setting number C off. So when it is 0, it means that the strategy is only using A and B. It's not even looking at C. So I'm going to run this, and then we'll see what this looks like. So this is only going to run 261 iterations. While that's running, I'm just going to check something over here. Okay, just responding to some messages. Good. I'm glad to see that the new licensing thing is working exactly as it should. I know it is because I'm doing it on my VPS. Just monitoring the group calls chat on here. If I can find it, there we go. Group calls. Excellent. Okay, so guys are still running. Okay, so now we've got our optimization almost complete. It took just under a minute. Okay, now we've actually got our results from this optimization. Now, because we have the include trade history ticked, we are now able to go and look at the analysis of the specific trading period. Okay, so that is what the strategy has done. And you can go to the chart and you'll see the actual plotted positions over there. So you'll see how the trades, you'll see 2 and 2, 2 and 2. So you'll see, the first contract was 2, the first entry was 2, the second entry was 2, and it exited. But in real time, when you're trading this, you might have 1 and then 1 and then 2. So it could split it up. So the strategy analyzer is not going to split it up as what real-time trading would do. So now we basically got a template, and there we had a strategy max daily loss exit where the positions entered and they failed. So it goes on like this. And then you can go obviously to the analysis over here, and you can look at the half hour of the day for entry time. That tells you exactly when the strategy started trading. So like this strategy template, for an example, only starts at 9:35 a.m. and ends at 11 a.m. So all trades are going to enter and exit between this time of the day. So it's a very small trading window that we're actually trading. So a lot of information can be gathered from looking at this, and you might even look at the day of the week. And that shows you, what the strategy historically has done for specific days of the week. And this has been helpful to some guys, especially I know Christopher did optimizations on the gold contract, and he saw that Wednesdays was a very bad day for gold. And sure enough, running the strategy, the Wednesday lost money, but every other day it made money. So this is where you can say, what, I don't want to trade on a Wednesday. So you can actually run optimization and you can disable Wednesday. So it'll only give you results Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So, that's another way of being able to, make the strategy, more tailored to your specific requirements and what has worked and what hasn't worked. Okay, so we've kind of covered everything on this. Now, what some of you might want to do, I'll just go back to the summary or the analysis for daily. We can show the cumulative over here. So that's this template. Now, say, for example, you're like, okay, well, I want to trade between 7 a.m. I want to trade between 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. So let's leave the end at 11. Okay, so 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And, I want to make sure that, because there's big economic news coming up, you need to check your calendar, which is on the DTB indicator. And then you can say, you know what, I don't want the strategy to trade between 826 and 840. You might say, you know, 840 is maybe a bit too much. I might just make this 835. And I don't want the strategy to trade between 926 and 935. So that's the open. Sometimes they can go batshit over there. And, you know, you don't have to worry about the 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. because it's not within the 7 to 11. So you've only got these two over here that are in play. And you want to make sure you want to exit positions at the start of the blackout or not, but, you know, have that ticked, you know, as a fail safe, because something could go crazy during this time and the price could jump beyond, you know, your limit orders that are placed, which could kick the strategy out. Okay, so we've done that. We can keep our daily values the same. You know, we'll keep our bar size the same too. So all you've basically adjusted over here, all you've adjusted is the start and end time. You've already got this in play, so it's already select there. So you can now run this again. And then we'll see what this one produces for the changed times. I'm going to also chapter this video once we're done so that you guys can, you know, come back to specific parts. But I hope you guys are getting some value out of this. I know for some of you, for the new guys, it's really going to be beneficial. For some of the, you know, the guys that have been around for a long time, you're very familiar with this. But it's good to be able to cover this in a bit more detail, because then more templates can be shared, which will obviously help the community as a whole. Okay, so again, just under a minute. Now we're going to look at the results over there. So, okay, so here we have seen that, I'm not sure if this value was any different to before. I think it might have been similar, but now we've got a slightly higher drawdown. So we got, you know, half hour a day. We can look at the entry time. You can say, okay, well, shit, maybe entering at around 7, 8 is probably not the best idea, because most of the trades are happening in this area. So, you know, this is a way, and I think this is exactly how the templates got created, where we were trading between certain times of the day, like 9:35 to 11, because that was when the strategy is picking up the best settings honed in for that period of the day. Okay, so that is that. Now, what I wanted to do also is I'm going to look at setting C. So setting C is the second indicator in the strategy, which is basically exactly the same as the first indicator, but setting number A is locked to 2. So when you're optimizing setting C, you're basically optimizing 2 as setting A behind the scenes, and you're able to optimize this now between 0 and 58 in increments of 2. So let's just do this. And I'll show you what that looks like in a sec. And I will change this time back to 9:35. Okay, so we've got that. So, and I'm also going to leave this as 2. So by keeping this setting A as 2, what we're doing is we're optimizing 2 indicators, but only the setting B. And I'm keeping it at 0 as a start, because that is going to tell us whether it should be on or off. So let's optimize that, and you'll see it'll have a few more iterations that it has to work through. So it might take about 2 minutes or so to do that. So for those guys, you know, as you can see, the strategy analyzer is a very important tool to be able to determine what settings are, you know, more likely to be effective when running the automated strategies. And it's the only tool that exists. And the great thing is that it's part of NinjaTrader. So it's actually analyzing and viewing data as NinjaTrader would view the data. So that is why it's really the only tool that can be used effectively to be able to gauge strategy performance if a strategy is compatible with the strategy analyzer. Now, the Modena Wick trader strategy, which we covered a little bit earlier, is not compatible with the analyzer, and that's because it enters multiple entries within the same candle, and it has a lot of exits and entries on the same candle, and it works on each tick. So it can't work within the strategy analyzer framework because of the way that strategies, process data. Now, the cool thing about this specific strategy and a lot of the others is they work on bar close. So the signals are generated on bar close, and that makes it a lot more accurate because you're actually getting, you're getting the specific calculations done on bar close. Okay, so we'll just keep it running. And if you untick this trade history box, this will cut the time down drastically. So that's if you just want to start playing around with optimizations, you can run it without the trade history, and then you can see the results. And then once you've filtered some of the results, then you could include the trade history to see the actual trades that had entered, listed in the display. So any questions, just pop them into the group calls chat for you members. I think you guys will be quite confident and comfortable working with the strategy after this call, especially working with your own templates. Okay, so this will be done in a few seconds. So, there's a few things that you can definitely enter. You could also optimize the signals. That just, it increases the optimization time. So rather just like choose true, false, and then run an optimization, and then you can choose false, true, true, true. You could try different values over there, and then that will, further filter out the signals generated by the strategy, and you'll get different results. So you can do a lot with this analyzer. It's such a robust tool to be able to trade. Okay, so that one there had a slight different results. We've got 35. I see it's a little bit higher with a 4-4 drawdown, 92 trades, and 91% accuracy. So that's what this has done. And you'll see over here, if I just increase this a little bit wider, you will see that this indicator, it's basically chosen a 26 and a 30, so that's very close, as the best results to have. It's done the same thing over here. It's done a 30, 26, so you can see it's like kind of a shifted them around. You see there was 26, 30, 26, 30, 30, 26. So that's basically the same, the same settings. You can see it's all this. It's basically this very similar settings, but it's just using this indicator as the predominant one and this one as the additional filter. And you'll see as you go through here, you'll see different values of how the strategy is working. So like this one over here, 24 and 30. That has filtered out, so slightly less returns, but then also a less of a max drawdown on there. Then you can even scroll further down and you can look here, there's a 30, a 30, 18, so 2, 30, 18. But now this one, it says it made 30,000 with a 1,600 drawdown. So that might be one to choose if you want much limited risk. And if you go to the daily over here, now you can see it does enter fewer trades. So it might not enter trades every single day. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So this is basically entering every day with only one losing day, over the period that we have optimized. So, it's good to be able to understand how the strategy analyzer works, because you can filter through settings like this. And then what we'll do is we will go to, this one does look pretty good. It hasn't got as many trades, but it's got a really good result. Now, you may notice that slippage isn't really a factor on this strategy, and that's because it enters limit orders. It's not entering market orders. So whenever a market order is entered, the slippage is automatically 3 on NQ, MNQ. It's like automatically. So some people get confused about what slippage is. Slippage is basically where the price would enter. So if you are entering positions, whenever an entry is entered and exit, it's going to have a difference of 3 ticks between the entry, and the optimization result. So if you had to optimize using 0 slippage on normal strategies, you're not going to have accurate entries. So this one doesn't particularly need to use slippage because it is limit orders, and those limit orders are at very specific points, and they either get filled or not filled. Okay, so we're going to save this template. So I'm going to go 30, and so all we do over here is we fill out the values so that they are equal. So we're going to go 18 and we're going to go 18. So we've done this, we've done this. So those are the settings, and then we can scroll down, and then we can create or save this template. So I'm going to go template, and I'm going to go save. And what you can do over here is you can say NQ, and it is let me just get this thing out the way. NQ DTB bars 50 underscore 30. So you're just trying to give a description for your template, right? And this is also very helpful if you are sharing templates with others. So you could say, NQ DTB bars 5030, and you can say there 6,000 take profit and 4,000 stop loss. Okay, so that is what the thing is. And you could also put in here, especially like I said, if you're going to share these templates, you're going to put the dates over there, right? So you're going to put 20 October to today. Okay, so you've created a template now, you've saved it. Okay, now you can go and open up a chart. So you can go new chart, and then you can go and choose that chart. So you've obviously got to go NQ, and you've got your 50 and you've got your 30. And this is where you're going to choose your custom range to match the template, which is going to be 20 October up until today. So it'll always show the last day on there, and you're going to click on OK. Okay, so that's going to bring up the very specific data that the analyzer has used to produce those settings. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to your strategies. You're going to go to baseline Wick Trader, and you're going to go template, load, and then you're going to choose that specific one. So that's the one we created. Okay, so I'm going to go load. You can choose your trading account that it's going to trade on, apply, and OK. Hey, so there you've got that there. So now what you can do is you can go into the baseline Wick Trader chat as a member, and you can say, hey guys, hey guys, this NQ template looks awesome. Okay, and then you go like this, and you go to your strategy analyzer, and you take a screenshot of this. Now, when you take a screenshot, try get the NQ, the bar size, the date, and everything. So just take a screenshot like this. Okay, so copy that, and you go over here, and you share the optimization. Okay, and then what you can even do, if you want, you can share, or it's a good idea to share the screenshot of the chart also. So you've shared the analyzer, you've shared a screenshot of the chart with the strategy loaded, so that people can see, okay, the strategy is loaded. These are all the settings. This is what it should show. These are the last lines. So people can actually look at this and they can compare their chart to it. Okay, so we've done that. And then the last step will be like, okay, well, now let's let's get this template shared. So we go to our documents, NinjaTrader 8, we go to templates, we go to strategy, and we go to baseline Wick Trader, and we've got this over here. Now, what we'll need to do is you've got to copy this, and I've just got it. I'm working between my VPS and my main computer, so I'm just pasting it to my main computer, and then I'm going to bring up this one over here, and I'm going to drag this template. So what I've done here is I've shared a template. This NQ template looks awesome. I've put in the date, and if you want to over here, you can say, you know, DTB bars 50_30, and you can go 20 October to today. You don't have to do this because it actually says it inside the template and the strategy. But I'm just going to put it on there. So when somebody looks at this template, they will see, okay, guys, all I need to do is I need to load up a DTB bars 50/30 with 20 October to today, and then load up the template. And then what you do is you share that with the group. Okay, now somebody else will look at this and say, oh, cool, let me see this template. And then they can look at the results here. Obviously, they can open it up in a browser to make it look larger, and they can see what you've actually done. They can see, you know, what the strategy shows, what the max drawdown shows as, and then obviously they've got the template itself. So anybody who's looking at the baseline Wick Trader chat as a member can say, you know what, this is an awesome template. Thank you very much. I'm going to download this template. So you will download the template. It will go to your folder. Okay. So it'll go to your folder inside NinjaTrader. Okay. And then what will happen is you might want to say, thanks, man. You know, obviously it's good to, you know, thank the different members, you know, for sharing templates and stuff. You know, then, you know, you can just, you know, you're sending karma back, right? Okay, so then you've got this template. So then you go to your documents, NinjaTrader 8 templates, blah, blah, and you paste that template into your folder. Now, obviously, I've got it in here because I created it, but any new member, if they go to their downloads section, they will find that template loaded. So then all you do is you cut and you paste that template into the strategy folder, which is this one over here. And then you're able to load up the chart, load up the strategy, and let it run. Okay, so that is basically how the strategy analyzer works with the baseline Wick Trader. So important things to remember, you know, you can just optimize your A and B settings. You can also optimize C, or you can choose to leave it off. But like we saw over there, by actually introducing the C, we've actually been able to filter trades a bit more and produce different results, even more favorable results. So you might look through this and say, you know what, I want to run this strategy template. So I don't want to have too much of a drawdown historically. You know, I know it's historical data, so we can't guarantee that it's not going to hit the drawdown. But, you know, this one over the last period of time has showed the best results. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we are trying to establish the current heartbeat of the market. So we don't need to optimize weeks and weeks and weeks and months of data, but like, what is the market currently doing now? What is the heartbeat of the market right now? How's the market reacting right now to the world events? So that's why optimizing the last, you know, few weeks of data is giving us a much closer representation of what the current market conditions are. And that's important to, you know, to try continue. So like that's a cool strategy, right? It's got decent results. It's only got 65 trades. You know, you can go and look at the chart itself. Be mindful though that sometimes you are going to notice, especially on this very specific bar size, you're going to notice that some of the entries are going to show like this. So that what happened there is the entry happened over there, and it shows a profit target over there. Okay. Now the price could very well have returned there, but there's a good chance that it didn't return there. So what would happen is that instead of this trade exiting over there, this trade would have entered over there, would have gone into drawdown over here, but then it would have hit its profit target over there. So it still would have hit its target. It still would have hit its target. It just didn't happen on that specific bar. So that's, so when you're reviewing your historical performance, you got to make sure that a lot of that is not happening, because there's a very good chance that this price could have just continued down and this actually would have been a stop. So that's the only thing when you're using bar sizes where the entries and the targets are on the same bar. Now you can increase. So for example, this specific entry was at 50 ticks from the baseline. Okay, so that's where this specific entry was. It was at 50 ticks. Okay, you don't have to get it exactly on 50. They get the point. So what you could decide, you could decide, say, you know what, I want to make sure 100% that any entry only happens where exactly it should happen. So you could adjust your first entry to 65 ticks. And in that case, the price will have to enter on an additional bar. So in this case, instead of the trade entering there, it actually would have entered there, just like the second trade did. So the first trade entered on the bar, but the second trade. So you could have both of these trades enter on the next bar. If the price touches there, then you've got no risk of having any trades that are showing, out of, that are showing this. But remember, in real time, very, very, very often, you're going to have, the price come and hit your targets, even though it looks slightly out of whack over here. You very, very often are going to have, the price bounce and hit targets. It's going to happen. So like here was a few where, the price entered on that bar, and you can see on this bar over here, you see how this one shows the entry. You see this one here shows the entry there, but because this bar didn't go up before it went down, this entry is actually showing perfectly on the bar. You see, because it basically started over there and went straight down. So these entries are exactly right. And the same with this one over here. So don't discount optimizations where you're entering and exiting on the same bar, especially if you can review historical performance and see what effect that has actually had on historical trades. So like over here too, look, the price entered and exited. If you had this higher up, you wouldn't have had this position. So same thing over here. This one over here, more than likely would have actually been a losing position too, instead of a winning position, if the price didn't return there. Because remember, the price can come down and then it can go up and then it can come down. But so we don't know exactly what happened on this specific bar. So this is how you can review this. Like there was an entry, it stopped out. Just going back to the strategy settings, I wanted to make sure that the entries per direction were right. See, entries per direction 4, that's definitely good. So we've got a 2 and a 2 here, right? Yeah, 2, 2. So we've got that right, 100%. Okay, so now you've got a template that you can work with, and then you've got more experience also working with the analyzer. So, we've only just touched the NQ. You can go on the MNQ. You can go on all different types of, all different bar sizes you can use. You can use trending baseline. You can use flat baseline. You can use range bars, all on the optimization. So one of the benefits with range bars is specifically that a range bar has got a certain amount of ticks. So if you're selecting range bars on here and then you're putting your first entry, well, let's just do a quick example. So say, for example, you are doing range bars, okay? And that a range bar is 30 ticks. So every single time the price moves beyond 30 ticks, it's going to form a new bar. So you could have your entry based on that criteria. So you could say, I want my first entry to be at 40 ticks. I'm just going to go to the entry section. You could say, I want to have my, you can see there's false, false, true, true. So we're looking at the third entry. So you can say, I want to have my first entry happen at 40 ticks. okay? And then you also know that you can have the second entry at 50 ticks because you know it's going to be on the next bar, right? It has to go to the next bar. So now you've got that, and you can say, okay, well, when that enters, I know that the current bar that it's on has to move, or it has to move 30 ticks, from that point. So you can actually have the target on this one, because remember, the entry is going to happen midway through that range bar. So you can actually reduce this down to the value. So you could say, you could even keep this at 30. Okay, so now you've got your stop ticks, you've got your target ticks. I'm going to leave the stop ticks as they are for right now, but I'm just going to run a quick optimization on this. Now, I don't know what this will perform because I haven't done range bars for a while, but it's just giving you an extra way of being able to do this. So let's go between 2 and 10, and we'll go between, let's even go between 10 and 58. You don't need to go from 2. You can, if you're seeing numbers primarily form in the 20s or late teens, start from 10, because then that'll give you less work for the the strategy to analyze. It's only got 225 iterations now, so it's kind of reduced that a little bit. And then obviously we haven't changed the daily profit target or anything like that, but that's things that you can work with. You can work with different times of the day. Maybe you want to trade from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. You can optimize for that period. I'm just going to continue monitoring this. If there's any questions in here, where are we? Group calls. Okay, let's see. Yes, exactly. So setting A is always 2. That is exactly right. So on this specific strategy over here, see, this one didn't really produce good results. Like there's one for 10,000. So we look at the chart. We'll look at the chart, and then you'll see, those were the entries over there. You see? So perhaps not the very best bar type to use. That's why the DTB bars is the most powerful and best. Okay, so it's a good idea to work with different things. You might want to change the contract that you're going to work with, the size, the bars, the date range, and all of that. So whenever you'll see over here, like I mentioned earlier, the setting C is basically the B setting of the second indicator, which is always defaulting as 2 for that indicator. Now we do have another strategy. If I look over here at the SI multi-filter, so you'll see that the SI multi-filter actually has setting A and B for the first indicator, and then it's also got setting A and B for the second indicator. All that we've done on the baseline Wick Trader is we've removed the setting. We've made the setting A on A2 to be 2. So that's all we've done there, and then you optimize this. So what we've done over here is basically the same thing. It's just that we've hidden the A setting, and I thought that was fine to do. We could expose this property in the future, but it's just adding an extra layer of optimization, which I don't think we need to do. Because the setting A and B are perfect. The setting C on that strategy is just a nice little filter, but bear in mind that it's always going to be it's always going to be defaulting to 2 as the setting C's, because this is the second part of the indicator, right? So it's going to be 2 and whatever you put in here. Okay, so somebody asked me something in the chat about the baseline Wick Trader question in the baseline Wick Trader. Okay, for the game plan. Okay, perfect. Okay, so for the game plan template, let's load up that template. Okay, so template load, and we're going to go to, hopefully it was this one over here, right? The NQ. Is it that one? Let me just see. Possibly. I'm trying to just look at it in a larger format. MNQ, what's the times over here? I don't see the freaking times. I'm guessing it'll be the it is the other one. Okay, good. So over here, okay, so have we uploaded that template? I don't know if I did it. Template load. This is MNQ. Okay, and we've gone to. Let me just see. We've gone to the settings over here. I think they are the same, 3 and 5. Yep. Okay, so all that I've done over here is I have optimized, between 2 and 10, and I've always done between 2 and 58. Okay, so I've done 2 to 58 over here in increments of 2. But what somebody did, what I see he did over here, Cyber Techie, is he actually did increments of 1. So you can do increments of 1. That is also 100% fine. And there is a chance that you're going to find better settings in there. So there's no, there's no problem in doing iterations of 1 instead of 2. It's just going to increase your thing a little bit, your iteration value, but you're probably going to find there could be some, odd numbers that are more profitable than the even numbers. So I might even do that going forward, is just optimize every single value instead of increments of 2. It doesn't take that much longer. It probably takes an extra minute or so. And then we'll see what this comes up with. So everything else should have been kept the same. You can scroll on this with your mouse wheel while it's working, just to look through the settings, but don't click anywhere else. And also, somebody asked me too, do you want to trade, if you want to click reverse or you want to have reverse trades, I can probably add a button to the taskbar to choose reverse trades only. I can do that. So someone did ask me that, but it's within the strategy. So you could optimize the strategy to only trade like reverse trades or long trades only or short trades only. So that's in there. Let's just bring this up. Yeah, so there we go. So there's an example of their 219. So the baseline, not the baseline, the strategy that I selected in the settings was 218. So that is the game plan template. So you'll see that if you load the game plan, this is the template loaded in there. But looks like there are better settings using a 219 instead of a 218. Okay, so that can be done. Now, yeah, so that's definitely something you can do. And this does look actually a lot better. It actually looks a lot better than the current game plan template. So if I open up this game plan template again, you'll see over here that where are we? This one over here. So like this one, when it loads, why doesn't it? There we go. So this one over here has got a different result, because it's using a 218. But doing a re-optimization on this, the 219 is far more profitable actually. So I actually might go and adjust this to 219 in the settings. So all I'll go do now is update the game plan to make it 219 instead of 218. So anybody who started at the game plan, all you have to do is actually edit the strategy. So you can go into the settings over here. So if you've got the game plan open, and I will update the script in a moment, but if you got the game plan open, you could go into the strategy settings once that all loads. And let's just go into strategies, and we can go into baseline Wick Trader, and all that we're doing here is we're changing this to 19. Okay. Okay, so now we've got a much better performing strategy with 219. So now all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and edit the script, edit the template within the script, and then update the screenshot on the game plan. So that's what I'm going to do after this call. It'll take me about 2 minutes afterwards. So when you guys run the script in the next 10 minutes, it will actually have the new template that is 219, and then you'll match the game plan. So thanks for picking that up. That was really, really awesome that you actually picked that up and found a better setting. So this is the cool thing about what we're doing over here, guys, is you're able to load up the templates yourself. You can review them. You can run some different options. There are so many different ways that we can trade this. So, I really do appreciate giving us that feedback, or giving me that feedback, and then updating it. So another questions in the chat over here. Thanks for your presentation. It's a pleasure. I'm still working with the program. Cool. For your VPS, will 16 gigabyte enough to run effectively? So definitely go for 64 gigabytes. So I'm looking at my task manager. I think 8 is a bit low. I mean, I've been running optimizations, but I think 16 is a bit low. I would definitely go for a 64 gigabyte server. 16 gigabytes is a bit low. Okay, so I've got 64. And which snipping tool do I use? Which snipping tool do I use? I don't even actually freaking know. So when I click on print screen, what is this tool? Let's just see what this says. Oh, it's called printscreen.com. It's a very cool print screen thing. It's very cool because what it does is it always selects the specific area, and then you just click on the, copy, or you can click print, or you can even save it to a cloud. So printscreen.com is the software that uses it, and it looks like you could even draw on the chart. I've never used the draw tool. That's pretty cool. But you can use the draw tool. You can even put rectangles. Actually, that's a very cool tool. Damn. And then obviously you can, write stuff on there. And then you can take a screenshot. That's a cool tool. Okay, so that's what it's called, printscreen.com. I don't know if that's, prntscr.com. So anybody who would like, this is a great tool to use for sharing templates, right? Because you can see how quick and easy it is to take a screenshot of your chart, of the strategy analyzer, copy, paste, bada bing, bada boo, right? So definitely use that. It's a free thing anyway. It's a free software. Okay, so guys, that's it. Let's have an amazing week ahead. Like I said, I'm going to update the game plan, just that second template, re-upload the script. So you guys will be able to run option number 2 on the script, and it will just automatically replace that specific template, and then you can run the game plan. Okay, guys, that is it from me, and thank you so much for jumping on the call. Let's kick ass this week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you guys. I'm not seeing you guys, but I'm looking forward to presenting next week's call, where we will cover the results from the game plan over this last week that we're going to have, and share your results too. So I am planning some additional updates to the DTB system now that I've done that licensing thing too, because I feel more secure. There are some kick-ass updates coming to the strategies, not to change the functionality of the strategy, but actually to incorporate all the saved templates that members are putting in, so that's automatically within the strategy. So we're going to do some really cool things. And yeah, I'm working on a host of different things. So thanks for staying and sticking with DTB Traders. It's an absolute no-brainer anyway. Anybody can jump on for $59 and having a complete system. It's an absolute no-brainer. So, continue working with the strategies and the signal charts. We didn't cover anything on the signal charts today, but they are so damn effective. So even the complementary guys have got an incredible set of tools that they can use to gain consistency, and obviously, convert to the complete system if they want to take trading seriously. Wonderful, guys. Thank you and have a fantastic week, and we shall chat soon. Cheers.